Hello there.
On tonight's episode, another edition of Retina Cubed.
It's Halloween and we talk about witches.
That's right, witches. And other pop culture news and entertainment from the week.
To warp speed.
Engage. All right, so happy Halloween.
Yes,
everyone.
Captain.
Thank you, Master Jedi.
No, I'm Jesus.
No.
Jesus was the ultimate Jedi Master.
Yeah?
Yes.
Oh, let's hear this.
Come, follow me, and may the Force be with you, my sons.
Alright, in
okay.
other news, a small home in Utah was struck by lightning and utterly destroyed.
Oh, lightning by the dark side of the
Oh my
Force.
gosh.
Okay, just one quick thing. For you guys that are listening to us on the podcast version of the show, we are dressed up for Halloween.
Wait, this was her Halloween? This is just what I was wearing.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. So she was doing the dishes on that. Yeah. She's Captain
Silva, obviously.
Silva from the USS Silva.
I hadn't thought about my ship. It's my first command.
Yeah.
They're still deciding.
And from Star Trek The Next Generation.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm Jesus Christ. No, I'm a Jedi Master, heavily inspired by Luke Skywalker on The Last Jedi, The Force Awakens. Yes. So, now that you know that, you could go to YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook to watch our shows and look how we look. Tell us if you look
amazing.
Good.
That's how we look.
Yeah,
we look amazing.
You should just go there and like it, share it, and comment it. Amazing.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So tonight, because it's Halloween, we're gonna talk about witches. It's a Retina review. Retina
Remake Review.
Remake Review. Retina
right? Because it's Retina Cubed. Right? Because there's 3 R's.
Yes.
Get it?
We watched both versions, the original and the remake, and we're gonna talk about both of them.
Okay, so the original... Well, first of all, these are based on a book by Roald Dahl.
Yes.
Which, naturally, neither of us has read.
And out of the gate... first, spoiler alert.
Yes.
But out of the gate, the new one has a difference. A main difference than the first one is... The new one is based on the original one and also on the book. And the original one is only based on the book.
Right. All right. So, spoiler alert established. That's kind of the one of our prime directives we have here. Is a spoiler alert. Okay. So let's start with the original, which came out in 1990s.
Was it?
I think
it looks so old.
Yeah?
I mean...
The 90s were like 30 years ago.
Sure, but it looks like older than the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, but sure, let's
I'm
say
pretty sure it was 90-something.
Okay.
Oh, and I just want to say, for the sake of my personal pride, I'm a huge Roald Dahl fan, and I have in fact read most of his books. This is a notable exception.
Oh, okay. Also, this is part of the series. Movies
based on books.
Books that we didn't read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Which for this one is probably will be easy, right? It's like children's books, like super short.
Yeah, but of course it's Halloween, and I tried to find it at the library, and
yeah, and of course the new version is new on HBO.
Oh yeah.
So I'm pretty sure people say, "Hey, again, I have to read the
book." It's a popular pick right now. It's a popular pick. Anyways, so the original I thought was absolutely delightful. Jim Henson was heavily involved in a lot of the puppetry, I guess, and the animatronics and all that. Anjelica Huston is the Grand High Witch, and we have a delightful Norwegian grandmother and a great kid who's cast as the lead.
The boy, right? He doesn't have on the original. He does not have a name.
No, in the book he doesn't have a name. In the original, he does.
He has this Luke.
Luke, yes.
On the new version, he doesn't have a name.
Right.
Okay. Some things about the first. Should we do like one then the other, or?
That's what I was thinking.
Okay, so let's...
one then the other, and then any comparison between the two.
Okay. So story-wise, well, tell the story of this one, and then we...
Oh, sure. So they both follow the same story format. There aren't like huge differences. So this first one, we meet our young protagonist, and he's hanging out at home with his grandmother, and they're having tea, and she tells him about witches. And the first thing you must know about witches is that they're real. And she tells him all the signs to spot a witch, how their eyes gleam purple, and they often scratch their heads because they don't actually have hairs. They wear wigs that give them wig rash. So they always scratch their heads, and that's how you can spot a witch. And she shows him where she lost a finger to a witch in some unspecified accident encounter.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's on the book or if it's on the original script. The grandmother was a witch hunter, so that's why she lost the finger. On the final version of the original movie, that's not established.
Yeah, she's just someone who knows a lot about witches and has escaped them before. So then we meet his parents, and they put him to bed, and they go out on a date, and they never come back. There's a tragic accident, and so young Luke is left to be raised by his grandmother.
Yeah, like some other old Luke is left to be raised by an aunt and uncle.
Yeah, kind of an unfortunate name for children. So they move to a new house. Oh, the grandmother is Norwegian, which is important because Roald Dahl's parents were Norwegian.
And the movie starts in...
It starts in Norway.
Norway.
Yeah. Okay, so they move to England where they have a house, and the boy meets a witch, and so they decide, we gotta get out of here. Let's go on holiday to the coast. And they arrive at the hotel, and everything's great, and Luke has his 2 little mice who are pets, and he's training them. But who shows up at the hotel? This whole coven of witches, led by none other, the Grand High Witch herself, Anjelica Huston. She was just perfect in this role.
She's in Addams Family. Is it her? No.
Yeah.
It's her, right?
Yeah, that's her.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So she has those like witchy looks.
Yes. Okay, so this Grand High Witch reveals her plan. Luke is in this, what would you call it, conference room, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's in there playing with his mice. The witches come in, so he hides, and she reveals her plan to turn all the children in the world, all the children in England, into mice using this potion 86. And there's a demonstration. This little kid named Bruno who just can't resist chocolate. She gives him a bar of chocolate. He eats it, turns into a mouse. They catch Luke, turn him into a mouse, and so now Luke and Bruno and they have to figure out how to stop these witches and all the rest.
Okay. Before we continue, so some interesting things about this one. This scene with this whole bunch of witches, they are on the conference room. They lock the door so nobody comes in because they're gonna relax and expose themselves as the true witches, which means they're gonna lose their wigs and show their bald heads full of scars. And fun fact that most of the witches in the room for that scene, they're actually men. So if you watch it closely, you don't need to watch it closely. Actually.
You know.
Yeah, you're gonna notice.
Some of them are pretty obvious.
That's a bald old guy.
Yeah,
there's a lot of those in dresses. One other thing is the transformation. So the Grand High Witch, she transforms like more than any other witch.
Yeah. And
it's all puppets, animatronics, makeup.
And for her, it's prosthetic.
Yeah, prosthetic makeup that took hours.
Yeah.
And
It paid off. It looks good, and she wore it well. She acted well under it.
And when they transform Bruno into a mouse, it's a mix of puppets, animatronics, and there's like some visual effects, but really well done, really convincing.
Really well done, yeah.
One other aspect of that sequence is like all the sequences in the movie. They long.
Yeah.
They very long. They don't just get there and get done. There's like there's explanation. There's everything. It's not so much complex, but it's definitely long. And if you watch any movie in the last 5 years or so, you're gonna notice how old this movie is, because a long sequence.
Yeah.
With not really necessity for a long sequence. What else about that? Okay, yeah, I guess you can finish the story.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this meeting, the movie's about an hour and a half. This meeting doesn't even start until like 40 minutes in.
Yeah.
It's almost halfway through the movie. Although it doesn't really feel that way. Like it is,
no,
it's long, but it's not like boring or slow. It doesn't drag.
Yeah.
Anyway.
It's not boring and slow, but it's definitely, when you watch, I was like, especially because we watched this in preparation to watch the new one. When we watched, I was like, yeah, I'm like 100% sure that they're gonna do the same sequence on the new movie, but like I know 1/3 of the size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they figure out a plot to get all the other witches to eat the potion and turn into mice, at which point the hotel like freaks out and exterminates all of them, and Bruno is taken home by his parents, who are understandably shocked, but willing to work things out. And the grandmother takes Luke home, and they start their new life together as Mouse and Grandma. But in this one, there's one witch. She's like the assistant to the Grand High Witch. She gets fired right before this banquet where all the witches eat or consume the potion. And so she never eats the potion. So for her, this is great. She's finally set free from all these terrible witches that she hates. So she tracks down Luke and turns him back into a little boy and promises to go find Bruno and do the same for him. So they get just a nice, neat, happy ending, and it's kind of implied that they're going to take all this money and all these other potions that the Grand High Witch had and maybe go and stop other witches.
Yes.
So
the mistreated secretary, mistreated intern, call it I want. That character is not in the book. It was created for the original movie. And she's not on the new movie, right?
No, there's no one like her.
Yeah. Another thing worth mentioning is the cast. Rowan Atkinson is on the movie. He's the concierge manager of the hotel, and that's that was a little bit before he was Mr. Bean. I think after the week the movie premiered. Or the month, Mr. Bean premiered on British television. Yeah, so it was a good hit on his career at that point. Okay, what else about the original one?
Just overall, it's really well made. Lots of practical effects.
Yeah. And
they're really good practical effects, like that. When we first meet Bruno, well, the mice they kind of switch between. Live, like real mice that were trained, but every now and then they just needed to use a puppet animatronic, but it's almost seamless. The puppetry is so good.
It's really good. When you see the mouse speaking, I was like, wow, that's good.
It's impressive. And
no CGI.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe there was some CGI, but
minimal.
Considering there was Jim Henson, I don't think there was the main thing.
Right. And I feel like it aged really well too. There's a couple scenes where like a witch will like point a finger and a beam of light comes out. And it's like, this is an old movie. But the practical effects still look great.
Yeah.
Kind of a trade of good practical effects, I think.
One main thing before we get to the
new
second one, the new one,
Mm-hmm.
is this one, the combination of photography and music and how they speak and what they do.
Mm-hmm.
Is definitely it's PG, right? The original is PG
so.
and the new one is PG. But the original one is definitely scary in some levels.
Mm-hmm.
When the new one is more comedic. There's comedy on the first one, but there's scariness.
Yeah.
And the new one it's not really scary.
No, not really. The first one, there's a few moments where it heavily references The Shining.
Yeah.
Right, like either in the music or the shots or the whole fact that they go to this hotel to be safe and this whole horror show plays out. So yeah, but yeah, I would agree. The first one's definitely creepier and more disturbing.
Yeah. And yeah. I guess that's it for the first one.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, for the second one.
Deserves its status as a classic.
Yeah.
I think.
For the second one, since the new one, since it's not. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so this one is overall it follows the same structure, same stories played out, with a few significant updates. First of all, the grandmother is not Norwegian, and we don't start off in Europe. This is all taking place in the United States. Mostly in Alabama. Chris Rock is narrating, and we find out the story. He's the one who starts off with the first thing you need to know about witches is they're real. So it's not a grandmother telling her grandson, it's him.
He's clearly teaching a class.
Yes. Yeah, he's got a slideshow. So there's a slideshow where he explains everything about all the stuff about witches, and then how do I know? Because... And then we flash back to him as a kid. We see there's this car accident.
I'm sorry. There's one thing that I want to talk about the first one. The whole scariness.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna learn a little bit about this one on how this little girl becomes a chicken, and it's there's a little bit of sadness there and the scariness. Yeah. Nobody wants to become a chicken, but it's very comedic. On the original one, this girl, she's put on a painting.
Yeah.
And she grows old there until she disappears.
In her parents' house.
In her parents' house.
Yeah.
Until she disappears. It's like, that's like dark and scary.
Yeah.
Compared to the new one. That's more like, oh, she becomes a chicken. Mm-hmm. It's sad and scary, but it's nothing like becoming a,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for perspective, I don't think I'd watch the original with our 4-year-old. This one, the new one, our 4-year-old loves it. She's already on her third.
Yeah.
Her third watch through. So little boy, his parents die in a car accident. It's like right away, it is sad. And I think that's a fair way to describe it. The other one was like creepy scary. This one was like more sad and scary when it wasn't very funny.
At least in the beginning, yeah.
So Octavia Spencer's the grandmother. She's always amazing. She comes, takes him home with her to Alabama. She's raising him. She gets him a pet mouse to help him cope. And just as he's starting to like come out of the shell and get over things, he encounters a witch. And she's like really creepy. And so in this one, the physical signs are a little bit different. They don't have the purple eyes, but you do have the whole wig thing. And then they have these like Joker type.
Wig thing?
Yeah.
Did they get bald?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they have more. The fingers.
Yeah, they wear like gloves, elbow gloves, and they have these like almost like Joker type marks on their faces, like the scars. Mm-hmm. So it looks like there's something wrong with their mouths. Anyway, so short version, the grandmother, so the little boy, who in this one is nameless, encounters a witch at the grocery store. They go home. The grandmother tells them about this time she saw a witch who turned her best friend into a chicken. And then she realizes, oh my gosh, a witch never stops until they catch the kid. We gotta go. So they go to this hotel on the Gulf Coast. Stanley Tucci is playing Rowan Atkinson's role as the concierge, Mr. Stringer. And everything's great until, bam, the whole coven of witches shows up, led by Anne Hathaway, who is playing a Norwegian Grand High Witch. Super creepy, super hilarious. She does a great job in this role.
And from that point on, it's very similar to the original. They have the meeting. The boy is there.
Yep.
They lure the little boy there with candy, and they transform him on a mouse. The difference is the sequences are shorter and more comedic than scary. What else?
Although they have an effect on the witches that I think is scarier.
Oh yeah.
The whole their
Visually
mouths
scary,
open,
yes.
Disturbingly wide with all these sharp teeth, and they take off their gloves, and we see they only have the 2 claws. So there's they use digital effects to good advantage.
And the boy has 1 mouse on this version.
Yes.
And it turns out to be a girl that was transformed previously by a witch. So they get together to fight the witches, and the same way they try to use the poison against the witches so that they become mouses. And there's one scene on the original that the Grand High Witch step on a mouse that was one scene. It's like, God, they're not gonna do this in the new one. Anyways.
And they didn't.
And they succeed. They do use the same potion against the witches. But the main difference at the end is that the mouses remain mouses.
Yes. Well, before that, we actually do get a showdown between the Grand High Witch and the grandmother.
Okay.
Because she doesn't actually eat the soup.
Yes.
And so we get this. I thought it was very satisfying. Very nice climactic face-to-face battle ish. But yeah, then that.
Yeah, and then the movie flash forward into a future where the older kid, now an adult mouse, is teaching students, and preparing them to fight back, to go against the witches, using their potions and using their money, just like the original.
Yeah. So I suspect that slightly darker ending where he doesn't actually get to become a human again, I suspect that's what the book was like.
Yeah.
It just seems very Roald Dahl to me. There's another nice little Easter egg. They're traveling around in this RV, and on the side they have witch stickers, and you see them add a new one.
Oh,
so they've got the stickers tracking all the witches that they've gotten. It's nice. It's very nice.
Yeah.
So overall, I thought it was a really good remake. It does justice to the original, but also kind of stands on its own. It was a nice update.
Yeah, and the advantages of making a comedic is, everybody loves comedy.
It's true. And I think we need comedy more than we need horror at the moment.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun. Like I said, our 4-year-old is crazy about it. It actually got a little creepy today in the car. We were driving around and she started acting like this first witch. And she's like, "Do you want some sweets?" Okay.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that's it. The Witches and the Witches. The new one is available on HBO Max. That's it. You heard from the captain and from Jesus. What's the news for the week?
A few things. First, let's talk about Snyder Cut.
What are we talking about, Snyder Cut?
We're talking about Joe Manganiello.
Oh, yeah, he's confirmed that he will be back as Deathstroke. So is Harley Quinn, Margot Robbie, Jared Leto as the Joker.
Yep.
There's rumors about Ryan Reynolds.
Really?
But apparently Warner doesn't like the idea, so we'll see. there's a lot about Snyder Cut out there this week, especially the controversy involving Josh Whedon and Jeff Jones and the black cast, the black actors. They accusing them of racism, and they said that uh, they were told that Zack himself picked Joss, and that they should tell that to the press. And now they revealing that was actually a lie. They fired Zack, and yeah, this whole thing on the news. Meanwhile, Zack Snyder is working on his cut, and yeah, we're excited for it.
Yes, we are. And this is not the only Deathstroke related news we have. We've also gotten our first look at a new version of Red Hood.
How is that related to Deathstroke?
Because the rumors or the theories is that this Teen Titans version of Red Hood became Red Hood not because of Joker, but because of Deathstroke.
Deathstroke, okay.
Which is makes sense in the series.
Not
comic book.
I mean, the series is good, but it's going way too fast with its hot Robins. You know, Robin, Nightwing, and then Jason Todd, and then they just announced this week they're gonna do the third Robin, Tim Drake, and apparently they're looking for a black actor for the role, so it's gonna be a twist on it, but you know, it's like way too fast. It's like anyways, we'll see.
I feel like
but yeah, it looks. Independently of the story on how they're gonna do the Red Hood, looks good.
It does. In fact, he actually has a hood.
Yeah.
And it's red.
Yeah.
I feel like most other versions I've seen is just like a red mask. Yeah, which looks cool, but anyway. So there's that. Also in DC, we've seen a first look at the new Batwoman. Yes,
and she looks like a Batwoman.
She does.
Looks good.
She looks great. It's Javicia Leslie, and I have no idea if I said her name right, and I'm really sorry if I said it wrong. But my only thing, so she's got like her natural hair, right? Ruby Rose wore this like amazing wig, this like big bright red wig. But with Javicia, it looks like it's her natural hair, which just raises the question, like, isn't that going to be kind of obvious?
I mean, maybe it's hair.
I know, but like, I don't know. For me, it's like Supergirl versus Supergirl. Like, how did Lena Luthor not figure that out?
Huh?
You know, in the series.
Supergirl versus Supergirl?
I mean, versus Kara Danvers.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. Like, Lena is supposedly her best friend and is super offended that she didn't tell her, but like, how did she not know?
And Lena's supposed to be like super smart.
I know. And like, she was like up close and personal with both of them and just... Anyway. Alright, what's going on with No Time to Die?
So apparently the streaming companies fighting for it. It's more like the No Time to Die studios are trying to sell to the streaming companies.
So are they skipping the theater premiere?
I mean, I guess it would be for hit the theaters. It might eventually hit the theaters, but it would hit the streaming services first. I mean, one of them exclusively first, and it's like some crazy numbers. The figures they talking about, $600 million for the rights of showing, and Apple, Netflix, Amazon, whoever gets it. So far, nobody did, and maybe nobody will. Which is alarming. Is we know that Cineworld, one of the biggest movie theater chains in the world, the biggest in the UK, shut down its doors because the premiere of No Time to Die was suspended, was postponed. And if the movies go straight to streaming, it might hit them hard because they're waiting for that movie to reopen because it's British products, a British character, and it's like, So we'll see. We'll give you updates as we receive them. For now, all we know is it might go to streaming.
Which would be a big blow for
I think
the
so.
theaters.
I think so. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of streaming.
It's like, I don't know, like the previous James Bond movies are like hugely successful.
Yeah.
It's like Avengers Endgame would go to streaming. How much they would lose.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens.
Especially in these days where the movie theaters are closed and they need everything they can to bring people when they can bring people.
When they can, yeah.
When they're open, yeah.
Well, that's a happy thought. But more streaming news. Netflix has signed a deal to start making Assassin's Creed content.
Yeah, gonna do Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, but like a series, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think makes a lot more sense than a video, because how do you condense like these huge games into 2 or 3 hours?
Yes.
Maybe a series can finally... Oh, like The Witcher. Like The Witcher seems to maybe have done justice to the game. So maybe an Assassin's Creed...
At least it started well.
Yeah.
And, they can go on and make seasons and seasons. And with series, you have... worst case scenario, you have one season every year. Which with movies... you have 2 hours, 3 hours. Let's say best case scenario 4 hours every 2 years.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, so with series you have more to work with.
There's also a potential possibility for other content. So this live action series is the main thing, but it sounds like they might also be talking about animated series or even like an anime type thing.
Yeah.
So we could be getting a lot of Assassin's Creed.
They just premiered about anime. They just premiered this anime called The Blood of Zeus.
Yeah, that one looked interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
One quick note about Netflix. They're gonna raise its prices.
Yes.
The standard subscription is gonna be $14, and the premium one $18.
So just FYI.
Yeah.
Miracle Workers got renewed.
3rd season, and it's gonna be on the Wild West.
So we started as a workplace comedy.
Yeah.
And then went to the Dark Ages.
We have no idea what the Dark Ages is because we didn't see it.
We haven't seen it yet.
So I don't know if there's God or if there's anything,
Yeah.
Why is that? It's still called Miracle Workers.
Yeah.
So maybe it's Earth. There is, a Dark Ages, so like some Star Trek planet or people still in the past. We don't know. We didn't see it. We'll let you know. But the new one will be on the Wild West.
Okay.
Same cast.
That's great. Because the first one, I thoroughly enjoyed season 1.
Yes.
And the cast is great.
Yeah.
Cast is great. Oscar Isaac has been cast.
There's not official.
Oh, really?
Some places are claiming it's official, but it's still in talks. But if they get him, that'll be good.
So what's the role?
The Moon Knight.
Is it something I should recognize?
Didn't they write that? The Moon Knight?
Yeah, Moon Knight. But I'm trying to remember
Hey, he's a generic Batman-like character for Marvel. Yeah, but he wears white.
Okay.
And vigilante, wears white. Actually, it's nothing like Batman. But yeah, vigilante that goes and fight crime. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Okay, so this year I feel like we've been talking a lot about streaming services because that's where we're getting most of our content. But Apple TV Plus now owns the Peanuts holiday specials.
Yep.
And apparently this year, they're not going to broadcast them like on regular broadcast TV. For the first time in 55 years. And this has got people upset. There's a petition. And you can sign it. And I think you should sign it because it's kind of a douchey move, I think. To not...
We ran out of time. The pumpkin Halloween is already almost...
It's upon us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So... There's still time for Christmas the Christmas. What is it in the? Anyway, Charlie Brown Christmas. There's still time for that. Apparently, Apple has agreed to make those
free.
Yeah, on certain days.
Yeah.
So like October 30th to November 1st, you can watch The Great Pumpkin. But anyway, there's a petition to get them to show it on broadcast TV. Find it, sign it, because this is just a holiday tradition that goes back generations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. But even if we don't have the Charlie Brown holiday specials, apparently we will have Oreos forever.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Nabisco created this asteroid-proof vault in the permafrost in Norway to protect Oreo and its recipe. So
thank goodness.
The world might end, but not Oreos.
Yes. Well, we can be grateful for the simple things.
Yeah.
How do you test asteroid proof? Like, how do you prove?
It's,
what does that even mean?
It's a PR stunt. They don't have the money for that. I mean, they have money, but they would not spend on that.
I would hope not. But
yeah.
Anyway, we can all sleep a little better tonight knowing that Oreo will live on.
Yes. And if you follow Jesus Christ, you will live on too.
Let the record show that I busted my butt to make a Luke Skywalker costume for you. Luke Skywalker.
It is Luke Skywalker.
Or maybe but just Luke, other Jedi Master.
But Luke was a follower of Jesus, wasn't? Was one of them Luke?
Yes.
The Gospel of Luke.
Oh my God.
What else do we have?
That's everything.
That's everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. The president of NBC Universal said this week that Peacock is not Quibi. And
it's not what?
Quibi.
Oh, Quibi. Oh, okay,
and there's people that people actually want to see, which is true. You know, The Office is gonna go there in January, 30 Rock.
Mm-hmm.
But they better watch out because it's streaming wars out there, and you have to. They just canceled one of the interesting new shows that came out with the new streaming service, the sci-fi called Brave New World. So it's like they already canceled a big new show. It's like, okay, let's see what happens next. I guess that's it for this week. May the force be with you.
Live long and prosper.
Bye. Happy Halloween.
Sylvia O'Brien, 2 to beam out.
Ooh.
Wait to watch more Star Trek.
I'm more like a Force Ghost.
Oh, okay.
You wanna turn off this video now.
You wanna like and subscribe. Make them like and subscribe.
You make it like and subscribe, then you're gonna close this video.